Akash and Vivek were childhood friends, the kind that didn't need to say much to understand each other. They'd grown up on the same street, played cricket till dark, and shared dreams of changing the world. Life felt limitless then. But time moved on. Dreams took shape. Akash built his life in the world of business, ambitious, sharp, and constantly on the move. Vivek chose the path of software engineering, quiet, structured, and deep into code. As the years passed, their worlds grew bigger and their connection thinner. At first, there were regular phone calls and occasional visits. But soon, deadlines and responsibilities crept in. Conversations turned into "sorry, I'm stuck at work," and "let us catch up soon." Before they realized it, 2 years had gone by without meeting in person. They still followed each other on social media, liked posts, exchanged birthday wishes, and laughed at memes. But real conversation, the kind that meant something, had silently faded. It was a quiet Saturday evening when things changed. Rain tapped softly on Vivek's window as he sat at his desk, sipping black coffee. The glow of his laptop screen reflected in his tired eyes. He closed his file and reached into his drawer, pulling out an old photo, two money boys, wide smiles, holding a broken cricket bat. He stared at it for a long moment. Then, as if on cue, his phone rang. He glanced at the screen. Akash. His heart paused. He picked up immediately. Akash, everything all right? There was a pause. A soft breath. Then came the voice, familiar, but with a quiet weight behind it. Vivek. I don't know why, but I just needed to hear your voice today. Vivek didn't question it. I'm glad you called. What followed wasn't extraordinary, but it was everything they had needed. They spoke for over 2 hours. About work, exhaustion, their families, and how fast life was moving. It was like brushing the dust off an old photograph, their friendship still intact underneath. That night, they promised to meet soon. Not just say it, but make it happen. But fate moved faster than their plans. 3 days later, Akash's father suffered a stroke. He rushed to the hospital, overwhelmed and numb. Between doctors' updates and medical forms, he felt completely alone. Until a familiar voice called out in the corridor. Akash. He turned. It was Vivek, panting, rain-soaked, and out of breath. I came as soon as I heard, he said, gripping his friend's shoulder. Akash didn't speak. He just pulled him into a silent hug. From that moment on, Vivek stayed by his side. He didn't ask what needed to be done, he just did it. Calling doctors. Arranging medicines. Making sure Akash ate something. At night, they sat outside the ICU on plastic chairs, speaking very little but feeling everything. Once, when Akash finally broke down and buried his face in his hands, Vivek said quietly, "You don't always have to be strong. Not with me." The days were long, the nights longer, but Akash's father recovered. Slow, steady, and strong, just like the bond between the two friends. On the day of discharge, as they stepped outside the hospital, Akash looked at Vivek. I couldn't have handled this without you, he said, voice low. Vivek smiled. You never had to. They walked silently for a while. Then Akash spoke again. You know, I've achieved a lot of awards, deals, media interviews. But lately, I've felt like something has been missing. Sitting in that hospital corridor, I realized what it was. Vivek looked at him. People, Akash said. Real ones. Not followers, not clients. People who show up when it matters. Like you did. Vivek nodded. It's easy to lose track of that. We all do. Not anymore, Akash replied. Let us not let the script happen again. And they didn't. From that point on, they met once a month no matter how busy life got. They didn't need big plans. A walk in the park, coffee on a bad day, a simple message that said, "You okay?" One day, Akash invited Vivek to speak at his company's leadership event. Me, why? Vivek asked, surprised. Because people need to hear from someone real, Akash said. Not just success stories but stories of support. Quiet strength. The kind that doesn't make headlines but holds people together. At the event, Vivek stood nervously at the podium. He spoke simply. About friendship. About showing up when it's inconvenient. About how success is sweeter when you have someone to share it with and how failure feels less lonely when someone sits beside you through it. After the session, a young entrepreneur came up to Akash and asked, "What's your biggest lesson in life so far?" Akash thought for a moment, looked at Vivek, and said, "Never forget the people who stood with you when you had nothing, because no achievement is greater than a relationship you didn't let fade." In a world that never stops moving, where everyone is chasing something, don't forget to pause and cherish the ones who walked with you when you had nothing. True relationships aren't about how often you meet, but how deeply you're connected.